when I said Nigerian, when I said Lagos, I remember the first thing people said, it's not Los Angeles, by the way. There is no solution without a problem. And there's no problem without a solution. Nigerian and Indian culture community, we find a lot of resonance and similarity. The problem is not the country. The problem is the people. And people are everywhere.
Like, so for you, food is like a connecting.
It's my love language,
Right.
to be very honest.
If you truly care about somebody, you'd allow them express their love to you.
I believe in energies. I work with energies. I find it weird when people compliment me about anything to do with beauty.
I like what you're saying. I think it's very important for people to see themselves beyond their physical.
I've heard some, very senior citizens say that, oh, in our times, there was nothing like this, that we dealt with issues and we dealt with problems, but we're all evolving.
Welcome to another episode of The Perspective with the Rayven, where we have real conversations and talk about how our life's journey and experiences have shaped our perspective on life, religion, love, business, and just generally how we live and grow. So today I'm here with a special friend of mine, Mamta Daryanani. She is a dog mom, entrepreneur, project manager, business development analyst, and an all-round awesome lady. Welcome to The Perspective with the Rayven.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Like, we've been having a lot of conversations behind the scene, and I thought it'd be nice for people to hear how you think, because you have a very unique way of seeing the world.
Thank you. I don't know why you say unique way, but yes, I believe I look at things a bit differently.
Yeah. But I do think everyone has their own perspective on life, and to be honest, that's part of the premise for the show, that people share their views on life. But then interestingly, like, you've been in Nigeria for a long time.
Very long time.
How long now?
16 years now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But why Nigeria?
Okay, so I worked with a company called BMC Software back in India
Okay.
and the US, of course. And when I decided to come to Nigeria to work with a company, and when I said Nigerian, when I said Lagos, I remember the first thing people said, it's not Los Angeles, by the way, it's Lagos. And I said, yes. So I did a little bit of my research. Those days, like 16 years ago, people didn't just go to YouTube and things like that. So when I went to Google, I tried to find out. But I like exploring places, people, and culture. So I knew even if it was a new place or it was adventurous and people told me all sorts of stories, the K word that I don't want to say, that, oh, are you sure? Because we've heard there's a lot of K that happens over there. I hope you know what I'm talking about.
I'm so sure.
Okay, okay, so the napping.
Okay,
Okay.
kidnap.
Yeah. So, and all of that. And I said, okay. And then my expectations were very set right from the time I came to Nigeria, and we had like a proper orientation from the company I came with. And they said that um when you're in Rome, behave like Romans, and when you're in Nigeria, try to behave like Nigerians once you get to know how they are. And then so life went on. I thought I was here for 18 months, but that never worked. It's been like 16 years now. Yes. And I've always wanted to mention this on a platform in Nigeria. There's a story here. Okay. So back in 2011, I went back to India um, to meet my family because it was my dad's 70th birthday, and the whole family was going to be around and all of that. So, considering most of my family members do not live in India, and so didn't I for a very long time. So I was around 17 when I stepped out. And, but yes, of course, I was born in the country. So yes, I'm Indian. And when I went back to India, my nephews and my sisters, everybody had come from wherever they are, and then we were all together. And I remember that so in Bombay, the city I come from, and I call it Bombay because Bombay is an emotion. Mumbai, that it is called right now, is just a name.
Just a name.
Yeah.
Bombay is
I
an
was
emotion.
born in Bombay. I wasn't born in Mumbai.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I call it Bombay and I prefer to call it Bombay. Like I said, it's an
It's
emotion.
an emotion. Okay.
So we use the local trains and auto rickshaws a lot. Auto rickshaws are what you call in Nigeria. The three wheelers?
Keke. Nepa.
Keke Nepa, yeah. So that in Bombay. And my nephew and I, we went to buy ice cream. And that's the most convenient form of transport. Like you just say, okay, and you get into the auto rickshaw and you go where you have to go and then you come back and then pay the driver. So I paid the driver when he got us back home and just below the apartment, and I said thank you to the driver. And that was the first look that my nephew gave me. He did say anything, and my nephew and I are just 12 years apart, so we're more like friends. And then he looked at me, but he didn't say anything. But it was weird. Like, I said, what? And he said, nothing. And then we started walking again. And then was the ground floor where there was the elevator. And we pressed the button and the elevator was there. And I saw a very elderly couple inside. I don't know them because I've not lived there for long, but I know that they were my neighbors, like somebody who lived in the same
buildings.
building. Yeah. And then I looked at them and I greeted them and I said, hello. And I said, good morning, because it was morning time. And yes, we eat ice creams in the morning. So I just looked at them and I greeted them. And then my nephew again gave me that look and he entered. And we live like on the 36th floor. As soon as we reached up, and we opened the door and he entered and he said, I am not going out with her anymore. And then my mom was like, what happened? And he said that she greets anybody and everybody, and she doesn't even know the people, and it's so awkward. Like she's like just like good morning and good afternoon, and she said thank you to the auto rickshaw driver after paying him. Why? I mean, we don't do that here in India. And just made me think. The auto rickshaw driver smiled. The uncle and auntie felt very warm.
Yep.
When and I, in fact, got into a conversation with them, which also is something that I'd like to talk about. That you never know, a simplest conversation with
Yeah.
anybody can actually change perspectives.
Yeah.
Or preconceived notions for
Notions.
that matter. And then I told my mom, I said, listen, this is something that Nigeria taught me. Because when I came to Nigeria and when people were looking at me and when they saw me the first time and they would greet, and I would wonder why, I don't know you. But it's always a nice thing because
It made you feel warm inside.
yes, of course. And who doesn't like to see somebody greet you or hear that greeting? Because end of the day, whatever they said, there was a good
Yeah.
before that.
Yeah.
There's either a good morning, there's either good afternoon, good evening, or a well done for that matter. And I was like, what did I do? Why are you telling me well done? And even if I cough, it's like sorry. And it's like so considerate. But you don't see these small things elsewhere, like in Bombay or London, where I lived.
Or just mind their business.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know who your neighbor is. You don't
Yeah.
really have the time to understand what's happening around you.
Too busy.
Yeah, to be honest, you don't care. But then here it was different. So that is something that I learned as an expat from Nigeria, and I took it wherever I went after that. So even if I was in London for a long time and I was off and on, traveling from London to Lagos. And when I used to do that too, I used to greet, and it was always a nice thing, to feel. And another story is that when I went to India once and I met some Nigerians there as well. And I cannot explain how happy I was to see them. And when I said how far or well done to them, they were like, "Oh wow, you're from Nigeria.
You know
You lived
Nigeria.
in Nigeria." So Well, as an expat, these little things did matter.
Oh, nice, nice. So like, so there's a lot of misconception about like what it feels like to be Nigerian, like based on what you heard before you came here versus what you've been
A
experiencing.
lot,
A lot.
a lot. To an extent, when I went back to uh to to India through the company, I didn't work for them for a long time. In 2 years, then I left. But they actually invited me in one of the orientations. And then I told them, because there was a new batch of people who were going to come to Nigeria. And then there was some of the engineers whose wives were going to come and settled in Lagos, in Nigeria. And when they came and they asked me to actually speak to them about it, and I painted, not just painted, but I actually clicked a real time live picture, which was very different from
what people's
perception of Nigeria was. Yes, absolutely. So
like what is like, I know another thing that people don't really talk about is like living abroad and moving to Nigeria. There's like certain like culture shocks. Like what's apart from like the greeting, which other like things have you experienced as like, oh wow.
see, I told you I'm very interested in a couple of things about life. One of them is culture. Um, Language, not so much, though I've always wanted to learn new languages, but I was too lazy for that.
Another language.
But yeah, but culture, for that matter, food has always been very, very close to me. Because I somehow feel that connects a heart to another heart. Not just the stomach.
So like, so for you, food is like a connecting.
It's my love language,
All right.
to be very honest. Yes, and
Your loved ones.
a lot. Yeah, my dad used to always say that people who get close to me or become close to me, and now not that so much, because I think I have learned the art of having a boundary.
Yeah, very much.
Yes, as I grew older in life, that I realized the fact that less is more, and that peace of mind is
That's
the number one
one thing
medicine
for anything.
for anything, especially to do with your heart and mind.
Yeah.
So I thought less the drama, and quality is better than quantity.
No, I
I
totally
tell you
agree.
the point
Totally
in
agree.
time. So my dad used to always say that if anybody becomes closer to me in my life, that they will never go out of food, because that is one thing that I mean, for me, it's like before good morning, I would actually check, have you eaten anything? So that's my thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. So, but then, so you do a lot of consulting work in the hospitality space. You know what I mean?
Yes, a lot. Like, it's been 16 years now. Yeah, behind the scenes. There was a time, like I said, I was in front and in people's face, but now I like to do it behind, the back end, behind the scenes.
So, would you say like your love for feeding people or getting people fed kind of shaped your willingness to go into that space? Has it shaped your approach in that space in any way?
Yeah, that is one very interesting thing, again, that the youth, especially today, when you grow up, I know it's the same in Nigeria as well, because Nigeria and India, they have a lot of
Yeah,
resonance
very similar. Yeah, a lot of
in
similarities.
culture and the way their upbringing happens, like Indian mothers smack and Nigerian mothers smack too. Or flock, like
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah,
say in
yeah, yeah,
Nigeria.
yeah.
Yeah, whip. And so, you have this question, right? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
And then there are the doctors and the engineers and
The more like corporate professionals.
yes, white collared professionals and all. And I remember my dad never asked me that, because he knew that for me, when I look at things, I explore. I mean, I get into the depths of it, and I find interesting facts about every small thing. I've actually researched on ants as well. Yeah, like, because I feel like everything on this earth was bought for a reason, right? So there's the story behind everything, and it's always good to know information. It's a conversation starter, and I think we are deviating from where we started. But one of the things that I always feel is that people do not want to get into conversations. And one of the reasons, when you actually asked me, would you like to, come on the perspective, and I was like very happy because I wanted to do it for myself, because I want to let people know that keeping things inside of you does not help.
Doesn't help.
Does sharing it help? You never know. I'm not saying 100%.
Yeah, of course.
But keeping it within you is not going to help you either. And which does not, again, mean that you are loud and announcing about your problems. But I feel that from a mental health perspective, and also the fact that if you want to bring a change in your life, which is if you want to change the way you're thinking because certain things are not working out,
Yeah.
maybe you need another perspective.
Like a
to make
sounding
that-
board or a mirror for you.
Yes, a mirror, basically.
Sound like it. So, but just to add to what you're saying is like I remember this quote that just really helped me because like I'm growing up as a kid, like my mom would say like Jackpot can die in silence. Like if I was dealing with something, I wouldn't speak. And I remember an uncle of mine telling me, I remember what I was going through, and I spoke to him about it, and he just helped me see it from a different light. And I realized like I think it had something to do with a girl. Right. I was trying to talk to a girl and he just gave me a little tip and he just said, Jackpot, a problem shared is a problem half solved. I was like, do you know what I mean? Because I realized that like I was just stressing over something that it was just a function of where I was looking at it from. So I hear you when you say like if you want to grow in life, sometimes it's like you have to be comfortable speaking about certain things because just a word or a perspective can change it all, right? So that's really dope. Also I know that we spoke a lot about mental health. You know what I mean? I know it's something you're passionate about, and you told me behind the scenes some interesting stories of how you, especially for young ladies, are very particular about young ladies, is working through that journey. Like, is it something that you dealt with that you found yourself out, or are you just passionate about it in general?
Okay, so this one's a bit personal, not bit, very personal, in fact. So, I think again, like I said, Nigerian and Indian culture community, we find a lot of resonance and similarity. And growing up, I grew up in a family where we were three sisters. My dad, my mother is a professor. She taught, she became a principal. And I've always been very, very close to my dad. But my father was a very strict father of three daughters. So all the topics were not allowed to discuss. But me being the black sheep, like they call even today, proudly, I wear a crown for that. Um, I had this ability to actually communicate my thoughts into words just the way they were. Okay. Uh, Sometimes it puts me in trouble, but at least I know that I'm speaking my mind. And growing up, where did this come from, basically? So, as a child, I went through something in life which was not very freely spoken about or discussed in public or with anybody, because there was always an element of taboo, belief, trusting something like this could happen. And then I realized that I grew up into a girl and a woman by myself. Um, just by realizing the fact that this happens and it's normal. And I never spoke about it until a point when I started to see that it was actually affecting me as a human. And I'm not talking about as a woman, I'm speaking as a human.
In general, yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a hindrance in the way I handle things, the way I used to feel from inside. And I'm talking about of my late 20s. I'm in my early 40s right now. But I'm talking about my late 20s, and I realized the fact that there's something that needs to change. And I always say this, that I'm God's favorite child, because, again, a deviation from what we were talking about, but I feel there is no solution without a problem, and there's no problem without a solution. two ways.
Two ways.
You've heard about there's no problem without a solution, but there is actually no solution that also has a problem in it.
So for a solution to exist, there must be a problem.
Exactly. And the best thing is that imagine there are solutions. So you just have to look at it from a different perspective,
Yeah.
you know. And then coming back to where we were talking about. So yes, I went through major anxiety. I went through major mental emotional issues until I was like 35 years old, which is not very long ago. Um, and I just tried to figure it out myself.
Yeah.
And I thought I was figuring out life. That this is how life is. Oh, I will get a solution. Or this is how it was supposed to be. Oh, I have to forget. I have to move on. But healing does not just happen.
It's not just happen.
You know? And you're not the one to decide whether you've healed or no. Because the way you behave, the way you look at things, what your perspective again is about certain things is to a certain extent, influenced by your healing journey. Now, that depends on what the wound is.
Mm.
Okay. But my wound is my own and my pain is my own. So if I have to say that to anybody, my assumption is they wouldn't understand. It's like, let me tell you a story. My dad passed away 3 years ago. And I remember that, so I'm I am still very close to my dad. I never want to say it in past tense. And I remember that when we were doing the last rites and when we had people come over for condolence and all of that, I was standing with one of my uncles and a friend of mine. She came and she said, "I'm so sorry for your loss. I understand how you feel."
Hmm.
And the me in me had to tell her then and there that, okay, thank you for your condolence, but you don't understand how it feels because you came for the condolence with your dad and I lost mine, So basically, what I'm trying to say is that thing between empathy and sympathy, that difference.
Yeah.
I was confused about that. I didn't know whether I was empathizing with myself or sympathizing with myself until I started taking professional help. I was clinically diagnosed as somebody who suffers from PTSD and anxiety as well. And it's the first platform I'm actually talking about it openly.
Wow.
Have I recovered fully from it? No, I haven't. I fight my battles every single day, every single day. But but then I am very thankful that I took help at a time when things could have turned into something else altogether. And honestly, I or anybody else would not be able to imagine what mental health can escalate into. And then I've heard some very senior citizens say that, oh, in our times there was nothing like this, that we dealt with issues and we dealt with problems, but we're all evolving.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so is
society as well. Everything is changing.
the pressure.
Yeah.
And the way you're looking at a particular thing, and even the food that we consume for that matter, which has a lot of effect on inside of your body as well. So I'm glad that when I was at that particular age and when things were messing up in my life, that I did realize that, oh, I have been messing up with life for a very long time. And do I blame myself for that? No, it will the circumstances. But if I don't do anything about it today, the whole perspective of how I look at certain things is going to change,
Right.
and in a very negative way, because perspective is what all it is.
Yeah. Perception kind of governs what you experience in your reality.
Yeah, and it's not just your own; it's the other person's as well. When you allow the other person's perspective
shape you.
Exactly, that's the point. But do you have the ability to do that? Do you have the openness to do that? No, because you are so engrossed in your own self, your own cry for help, and the fact that, oh, there's nothing that's going to help you, that you have to live with this and you have to just manage, like they say, and then I took help, and once I was clinically diagnosed, then I started my medication, and a change in your lifestyle is very, very important. Well, I have nothing against people being very social, good for them. But me, I'm very selective as a person. Yeah. Because my peace of mind and, my interactions with people matter a lot to me. Because for me, and we've had this discussion, you never know what a conversation can lead to.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you start with something and it can actually allow you and convince you to change the way you're thinking about a particular thing and bring something good out of it. Yeah. And here I want to actually mention somebody as well. So, I'm leading Apex at the moment, which is a rooftop restaurant. And we started it from scratch when there was nothing, and today to what it is. And I came to Apex when I was hired by Harold Okwa, Mr. Harold Okwa, and I think he doesn't know that he's my mentor, but he's actually my mentor. But in certain, now mentorship has a lot
Yeah, of course, yeah, like
different
different aspects and different areas of your life where
he's the one who actually taught me to fight my insecurities and my battles. When I say battles, I mean because I was so guarded because of my previous experiences. Because I've got these hands burnt and things like that, and it has affected my mental health, and it has also been a restriction kind of a thing for me to perform in a particular way in a particular environment. I think he's the one to actually teach me that, Mamta, you protect you.
So you said that to me yesterday. So sorry to, but just when like there was something happened at Apex and you said Harold told me that like no one else is going to look out for your interest, that you have to look out for your interest.
Yes.
And that's what's interesting that you say that, which is and I think just to add to what you're saying is like I think it's important for people to realize that you can't expect somebody to be everything to you, right? Share relationships. And I had an experience with a mentor of mine where I came to the point that I said to myself, and I said to him as well, is like, I see that you're my mentor in my personal life, but you do not get my professional journey. And he's like, now, what do you mean? I was like, it's no indictment on the relationship that we have. It's just that I know the role that you play in my life. I'm grateful for that. And just to add, I think it kind of brought me some peace because I was trying to do something and he didn't get it and I felt bad. But then I realized that, like, you know what, my expectations, that's what I had to tame, right? So I just wanted to add that to what it is that you're saying. But and I appreciate you speaking about this in terms of what it is that you're dealing with and the mental health perspective is not a lot of people deal with it, right? And we're talking about the similarities between cultures. I think similarities between the Indian culture and the Nigerian culture is it's one of those things where you suck it up and keep it moving, right?
Right.
You don't talk about your feelings, especially as a lady. It's almost like it's more ladylike to express certain things. And what I find that it does, it creates a lot of stunted growth. You see that it hinders personal development because listening to you speak is some of these feelings and insecurities affected your ability to perform productively, also affected your interactions with people. But then, and I like the fact that you've gone and said, you know what, I'm going to take accountability for this, right? This is where my strength starts, and this is where it stops. And where it stops, I'll get help. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to say, like, you talked up to me about like your passion for having conversations around like body positivity and self-image, and do you want to talk to me about that? Talk to us about that.
Yeah. So again, another personal thing was I weighed 128 kilograms once upon a time. And then I've gone through Ozempic and I've gone through like everything. And today I've lost weight. But none of that was anything to do with the way I looked. It was, I am diabetic. and hypertensive. I take insulin. All of this was for a better lifestyle, for better health.
So it wasn't about like you trying to look.
Not at all.
So
Absolutely not. Because I do believe, and I've always believed in that confidence. I mean, people talk about how you feel from inside is more inner beauty is more important and all of that. But for me, I always believe that your confidence is something that you wear on your face, on your body, in your feet. And that is what shows first thing when somebody looks at you.
right.
So, of course, your eyes, your smile. For women, the makeup, the clothes you wear, even for men for that matter, it does matter. But I'm not saying no. But I think confidence is something that is very, very important. So if you are fair, dark, you have hair, you don't have hair, you're fat, you're thin, whatever it is. But the first thing is how you present yourself. I'll tell you something. I was in, and this has actually happened, is when I was in London, I remember, and there was this Asian lady, girl, okay, must be in her teens. And I remember I was wearing a short skirt, shorts actually, not even a skirt. It was shorts because I travel very comfortable, and uh, and this is something I believe in even today. So I was at the airport waiting for boarding, and she was looking at me. She was not even looking. She was like staring at me. And then I went to the washroom, and she followed me there. And I was like, okay, that's weird. But then she said, and she called me auntie. So, okay. So she said, Auntie, I just want to say something. I love wearing short clothes, but I don't like to wax because it's painful. And I don't know why, but I instantly told her something. I said, you like to wear it with confidence. It's fine, whether you have facial hair or your hair on your body. For women, it's a very important thing. But for hygiene purpose, okay, fine, I understand. But don't make that as a standard of beauty. That's a personal preference. Waxing is actually so overrated, I feel. It's just that people feel that, oh, I mean, what difference is it actually going to make for a little child? She must be, what, 13 years old, and because what we see on social media and magazines and
Well, what we define as beauty norms.
yes, the norm is that if you're wearing short clothes, that your skin needs to shine or something. But it's not limited to that. There's more to that than
Yeah.
how you walk confidently, in an airport or bus station or train station or even on the road in a supermarket. That you get that second look because you're confident about
Carry yourself.
the way you're carrying yourself
Right.
is more important than
The actual.
the actual inside. So I think I really I find it weird when people compliment me about anything to do with beauty. I'm like, that doesn't fascinate me. That doesn't make me blush. But if there's somebody who talks about they learned something from you, is more
It's more fulfilling to hear that it is.
yes,
And it does more for your sense
exactly.
of self.
I mean, do I like compliments? I love
Everyone does.
compliments. Everybody loves compliments.
Of course.
What we talking about? But then we evolve or we grow to a age, and phase in life where bigger things matter to us
Yeah.
more than anything else. And I think everybody, man and woman, whatever, they all have a smile. Is something everybody has, and everybody smiles are beautiful.
Yeah.
So
So you might as well just let it out. No, but I like what you're saying is like as well because, and I think something that people underestimate that happens is the fact that like social media, billboards, magazines, all these things are edited, right? When you see these people, there's this mystique and there's this fake sense of perfection that the media, and that's part of why in the space that I work in communication, I work in branding and advertising. And that's part of why I got very active in mental health because I know that like some people are reading like magazines, are watching ads, and they're creating this false sense of what it means to be beautiful out of something that isn't real, right? So, and I think I like what you're saying. I think it's very important for people to see themselves beyond their physical. You know what I mean? In terms of their mind, their spirit, and their body, right? Which brings me to the next conversation is like we've spoken a lot, and you're very particular about like spirituality. You know what I mean? And I want to believe that has helped you on your journey as well in terms of finding yourself. So like, just tell me like what role has spirituality played for you in terms of listening to you speak. You sound like you've lived a couple lifetimes. You know what I mean? Like, is spirituality a big part of that? You say?
I think very big part
Very
of
big.
that.
Okay.
Very big. And with spirituality, I don't mean religion.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Of course. I believe in energies. I work with
Yes,
energies.
yeah.
I've been asked a question, why is it that something puts you off and it's off?
It's off. Like you don't know it, but you sense it, and it's
Yes.
right.
It cannot be changed. No, I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, whether it's a strength or a weakness. But I somehow, just the way you look at somebody with those eyes, whether there is respect, whether things are going to work out or no, there's already an
You
exchange.
can almost feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it. And then when that feeling is not there, something is off.
So you don't force it to. It's not there.
I don't. I cannot. It's not that I don't, but I cannot do it anymore. It's like if I click, I click. But if I don't, I want to work towards this. I want to learn how to make an effort to try and see if it would work. And I know that is something that I really have to in today's world, especially corporate world.
Because you're gonna be in spaces where maybe you're not too comfortable with this energy, but you need to.
I'm in hospitality.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I sit, I'm there, and Apex has given me a lot of respect.
Right.
Um, I have one identity that we're going to talk about, which is a pet mom.
Yeah.
And I think Apex also gave me another very strong identity, which
Boss
is
lady one?
the boss lady one. Yes, the boss lady one. I think even my friends have started calling me that now. So yes, but that is come because the way I have shaped and tried to change and bring in, better things into my life, like better people, better conversations, and spirituality has played a very important role in it because I've mentioned this before. I'm God's favorite child.
A lot of people argue with that.
Yeah. Well, I know that.
No, but that, to be honest, like at the end of the day, it's like that's part of one of the things that you're saying is like you have to start to see the world from inside.
Yes, but you do realize that every time I say this, I'm trying to tell myself
Yeah.
that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work towards making things better.
That's
Because I believe in the secret, which is again very controversial.
Yeah. So I believe in it as well.
You do.
Yeah, I believe also in terms of your words and how I try to be very particular about it, right? And knowing that like my words have the power to create a reality for me. So I would say if someone asks me something and I would think about it, what is the outcome that I want? I don't like to put words or give life to outcomes that I don't want. So I do believe in the secrets, and I think that is where spirituality comes in for me, right? In terms of it's not about what anybody else thinks or what any other religion tells me. It's about this genuine feeling I have towards something. And I do believe that like we're all gods in our own right, right? And so and people ask me, it's like, how am I able to just live the way that I live? And I say it's not because of anything that I have or don't have. It's just this sense that like eventually I would come to realize that I'm enough and I move from there. Do you know what I mean? So being God's favorite child is like, it's a thing that everybody is in their own right because in their own right, they are God as well.
Exactly.
So I do believe in that. So I'm guessing
Ask you a question.
Oh, of course, of course.
Have you ever been? Oh, so okay, let me change this question. What if you were given a compliment? about see the perspective
Yeah.
about the way it's not an interview with Rayven, or it's not like a debate with Rayven. It's a perspective with Rayven, and you're doing a very good job at that.
Thank you.
Because you're engaging, because of the way you pick your guests or the topics they talk about.
Right.
And it's just very interesting. And I want to listen to it, not just hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a difference
There's a
between
difference, yeah.
that. So all this while I've been complimenting you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been smiling and you are acknowledging the compliment, right?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about it? How are you taking this compliment? I'm asking you a question.
So how am I taking this compliment is typically at some point I used to feel very uncomfortable
Right.
with compliments because I've always struggled with a sense of imposter syndrome, right? Like I've never felt. So I'll just start with my mental health journey. I remember when I started to speak about it, one of the first things I thought to myself is like, why do I feel like I have the right to speak about it? What do I know? What's my experience, right? And then I started to realize that like the fact that I see it, fact, because you start to see like not everybody sees the world the way you do, right? Which is unique to you. So the fact that you see it means that you have a say in it.
Right.
So, and I think for me as well is how I've been able to move in a way where like this compliments, instead of them making me feel, because I used to feel pressure by it. That's what I would say. And especially when it was something physical, someone compliment my look. And this also coming from a point where I was only seen by my looks. No one really listened to me.
Right.
So when you compliment my look, it would take me back to a place where I'm not trying to be. But now I realize that like the fact that like you look the way that you look, the sound the way that you sound, whatever it is that you have is part of your mission and your journey and your ability to use it for the greater good. So when you compliment me or anything that I do, it's not about me anymore. I think that's what it is for me. It's about being able to use what it is that been given to me, the gift, the grace, the talent.
The impact.
Yes. So when you say, oh, like, because you obviously always have a lot of positive things to say about the perspective. And like, when you say it to me, it emboldens me, do you know what I mean? To want to do more, to want to have more of this conversation because I never did it for me.
Right.
And so for me, like the worry I used to have with compliments was it was too me-centric. And that's not how I like to see the world. I think to me now it's like when I hear compliments about the things I do, I don't take it too personal. And I think generally what I've learned in life is not to even take things too personal because it's never about you, right? Genuinely, I now see myself as a vessel, right? Vessel for whatever it is that I carry. So if it's my looks, I look a certain way. I feel like God, the universe created me in this way for a reason. So it's not about me. So if you compliment me, it's just complimenting my creator, my source, and I'm just a vessel. So I'm grateful to be a vessel for that. And like with the podcast, I saw the need for conversations like this. And I'm grateful for the audacity to do it. Because when I had the conversation with a lot of people, is the question I was getting was from, oh, would this thing make you money? Would this, and then in my mind, it's like, you don't get it. And at first that made me uncomfortable, but then that made me realize how important this was. Do you know what I mean? So I think right now I see compliment as, and also as well, it's like, I know the importance of it because I would compliment people when I see something that they like. I like in them or whatever. And I think it's important. It's a form of kindness that we underestimate the importance of, right? Just saying, oh, you look nice. You don't understand how it uplifts somebody, especially like how you're talking about body positivity as well. Is like, imagine you second guessing the way that you look and someone just comes, you know what, like you look good.
Right.
And it's like, and sometimes is what I've learned is if I feel the need and the urge to compliment person, I would go for it because talking about energy and spirit is like, I feel like as human beings, our least effective way of communication is words, right? We communicate in so many other ways.
Yeah.
Right. And I believe like on a deeper level, we communicate with energy. So sometimes when you feel this urge or this need to compliment somebody, there's a part of this person that wants to hear it, right? So sometimes when people compliment me, I think to myself, maybe I don't know that I need this. Do you know what I mean? Because it feels warm and fuzzy inside. And I've learned too, because especially being a man, we struggle with accepting kindness. And I remember learning that, like, so I was dating someone once, and when she broke up with me, she said to me, Jaco, you're great at giving love, but you're not good at receiving it. And it made me really think. And she said to me as well, it's like, if you truly care about somebody, you'd allow them express their love to you. I was just like, wait a minute, I've never really thought about it that way.
Right.
So yeah, so I guess all that thought processes shape the way that I see compliment now, right? And when I compliment people, I'm more intentional about it.
Right.
Not just about what it is that I see with my eyes, but what I sense and feel.
Sure.
So yeah, that is, so when you say, oh, Jaco, like, well done with the perspective, it's more like an invitation to do more. That's what I see.
Right.
And
And that's the intention of giving, like we say that for the looks, the clothes you wear and all of that, okay, fine. It's for that particular moment, right?
yeah,
You're looking nice is for that particular moment.
Right.
You're wearing, I like what you're wearing is for that particular moment. But what we're talking about is basically making an impact,
yeah,
which is long term.
yeah, about the essence of this person.
Yeah. So perspective is there today, and there's perspective tomorrow and day after tomorrow. And thanks to technology, maybe 10 and 20 years later as well, when people are watching it again and trying to change the way they think because they picked up some small little thing from a conversation between two people.
Right.
And coming back to why I complimented, and I wanted to see what your response is, and which is exactly what I got, is the fact that we talk about spirituality and we talk about words that we speak and how it can actually uh, turn into magic and things can happen. Yeah, because I've seen that sometimes we say things unintentionally that actually hit us in the wrong way as well. Like, for example, I compliment you. Like, if I compliment that, oh, perspective, and then you reply by saying, oh, there's a long way to go. We know there's a long way to go, but feel good about the
now.
positive, the now.
No.
I'm talking about what I have seen yesterday and today is very nice. It's very good. It's impactful. What you want to do is another topic for another day
Accept it
altogether.
as is now.
True. Like I've seen women when I complimented somebody, and it's true, and I'm sure she's watching it. Is I told her, I said, oh wow, you look so nice, because she was unwell for a long time and she's come back, she's bounced back from an illness and she looks very nice from outside. So I said, you look very fresh and very, very nice. And she said, oh, no, no, no. See, look at my clothes. I look like a homeless person. So now what you have done is that you have actually turned a positive
into
a negative. And that negative thing, there's a high chance that you're going to remember that feeling more than that positive thing. The problem is that we are our own enemies sometimes. Sometimes we do not have the capability to actually take a compliment and make a change or feel better. But that's the whole thing about a compliment, is like it's basically to accept and see how tomorrow will be a better compliment.
Oh, wow.
Instead of thinking that, oh no, this happened. No, 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 I could have been better.
Yeah, of course.
To be better tomorrow, but
then
today take this compliment and absorb it.
No, that's crazy. Like when you were just speaking, like the first thing that came to my mind is like a compliment is an invitation, somewhat, right? Invitation for a feel good factor.
True.
So what you're saying is like, if you don't take that invitation and then you transmute it into something negative, it's like, to be honest, I think it does two things to two people. not just you receiving the compliment, but the person giving it as well.
Very true.
So the person giving it had a positive feeling by seeing this positive thing in you, and they wanted to share it with you. But then you take that and throw a negative thing back at the person, which wow, I've never really thought about it that way. Thank you. That is a very interesting way, because especially in our cultures as well, right? And there's a sense that like accepting compliments too much means you're a bit proud or you feel too big of yourself. But then I feel like the truth about it is you have to own your things, right? Own what it is that makes you unique, own what it is that makes you, because at the end of the day, it's like we're all individuals on a journey. Like, though our paths would cross, right? And we'll play different roles in people's journeys, like, but then we're all on our own journey, right? And the way the universe works is it will bring people and things your way that you need. So when someone gives you a compliment, don't think, because consciously you don't think you need it, but that subconsciously there's a part of you that is craving it that you don't know. That's such a
Yeah, and not all of us are self-motivated people.
of course. Sometimes we need some external.
Exactly. In fact, I remember my conversation with Harold as well, and I told him that I said, I'm not a self-motivated person.
You had me fooled.
No. Okay. But so then as leaders, business leaders especially,
Right.
when we own businesses or we lead businesses, we run businesses, it's very important for us that criticism is important, but at the same time that if we see that our staff
Yeah.
or people who
Are
work
doing
with
well.
us are doing well, then we do compliment them
Yeah,
about it,
positive
which does
feedback as
not
well.
mean defend them
No.
for anything that they do wrong. But I'm saying that if you see that they're doing something better, it's then and there that you compliment them and talk to them. And then there's a topic of hospitality here that I would like to say. Nigeria does not really have formal hospitality schools. Like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
do
Okay,
have
you mentioned that, but you don't have like.
yeah,
But also just to add as well, it's like, don't you think the lack of the schools is a cultural thing as well?
yes, because they thought, oh, being a waiter or waitress, why you
Yeah.
need school for that?
Yeah. So I think so. Once the culture towards hospitality changes,
Yes.
the society will see the need for more formal training.
Yes, because I honestly, to be very honest, yeah, and I really want this to happen. Is I want people to stop saying, "Oh, this is Nigeria."
Yeah.
It's
That's
okay.
it's okay for the standards to drop because it's Nigeria. No,
It's
it's not.
Nigeria. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not okay. You're the same person who would go to America or London or Europe, and then you have a certain expectation, right?
But then,
You have that
so you
expectation.
shouldn't tame it because you're here.
No, you shouldn't. And in fact, the youth here, they want to do something.
Yeah.
Because there is a need to do, they have to feed themselves. They will do better if, as business owners, we invest in training and we invest in personal development.
Yeah.
Because that is something we don't do.
Yeah.
We don't talk to them about emotional intelligence. I'm talking about hospitality for that.
And of course, like I think
Even
it's
sales for that matter.
it's transferable.
Supermarket,
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Attendance and unique
all
capacity.
this, yeah, in any capacity for that matter. Like, I want to walk into, say, a restaurant, and I'm not. Am I moderately hungry or very hungry? I'm moderately hungry, but I want to be upselled.
Yeah. So if the person needs to be able to tell you, okay, maybe you're not so hungry, but do you wanna?
Right. Do you want to try this? And the way they communicate, because most of the times, especially in hospitality or service industry for that matter, it's not what you say, it's how you say that matters.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
When will we be able to teach this or train or coach our young people on this attitude?
Yeah.
Hospitality is all about attitude.
Yeah.
Yes, skills as well.
Yeah. But it's a perfect combination of skills and
Attitude. I want to make the person who's going to spend money at Apex feel good about coming in and dining there.
Yeah.
Not just because he knows me or he knows, Harold or anybody else that they're working in and they're patronizing us. No, I want apex to be an experience for people.
Yeah.
So when you're walking in, you're seeing smiles, you're seeing the MMFI, which is make me feel important. We are making you feel important about coming into a place. Whether you, maybe there is a situation where you ordered for something which is not there, but the way I make you feel about that thing not being there, and then still serving you, feeding you, and value for money is more important than anything.
No, I love that you said that, because it's like, so I do some consulting work for people in hospitality, and one of the things I say to them is like, you have to realize that like people are walking in not because they can't eat at home, not because they can't drink at home. It's like they're walking into your venue because they want to feel a certain kind of way, mainly positive, right? They want to feel comfortable spending their money, right? And I've seen this in certain situations where like someone comes and they got their order wrong, right? And see two different ways in which that thing was approached, right? The first one is the person comes and is frowning, like almost like, oh, I got your order, it's not my fault. And the customer will be livid, right? And go there saying like, I never want to come to that place again. These people are rude, whatever. And I've seen other situations where, oh, I'm sorry, we got your order wrong. How can we help you? What can we do? But in the meantime, take this while we sort that out. And like, I feel like what people in Nigeria don't understand, like sometimes those bad experiences are opportunities, right? Because in that place, you're able to show a different range of temperaments, right? So walking through this customer from, oh, I'm feeling negative about this place, and being able to turn that into positive, it will live so much longer in the customer's mind than a straight up good experience, right? So I like that you say that. And to be honest, I come to Apex a lot. And one of the things that I do appreciate is it's, I can tell that there's an intention of making me feel good, right? Sometimes I feel like, oh my shit, it's too much, but at the same time, is if I'm being honest with myself, I like it, right? And I'll think about it, is if someone came to me and said, oh, I want to go to a place, right? I'm so much more I'm so much more comfortable recommending it, because I know that like it's not just about the food or the drinks or the aesthetics; it's a feeling that you get. That's so nice.
So experience, I always believed, is what you do or don't get when you do or don't want something.
All right.
I mean, let's look at the do's. That experience is what you do get when you do want something.
Right.
What is the experience that you got? And then experience is also what you get when you don't get what you want.
Another thing is like the first thing I ever knew about you was a friend of mine had a dog, right? And it was like, oh, he's gonna take the dog to a groomer. There's this new, just like taking the dog to a groomer. It's like it's not a very Nigerian or African thing, right? And then when we met as well, like I found out that you are the famous like dog lady. Like like you care about
Mom.
the pet mom, yeah. So like we've had this conversation. I grew up in a home where my dad is a dog lover, right? And we have like 9. I don't know how many dogs he has.
Oh wow!
He has like 9 dogs, different breeds. But and one of the things that I realized about dogs and animals is they teach you a lot about relationships. They teach you a lot, especially dogs. So I'll just give you one of this crazy experience that has happened. So we had a dog called Caesar. It's a German Shepherd, right? And this guy was, my dad is coming. He will know at least 5 to 6 minutes before. I've never, like, he doesn't make like clockwork, right? It's like whatever time of the day that my dad is coming, right? He would start to, he'll get like extremely excited, and then my dad would come. I'm just like, did he hear the sound of the car? Like the feeling was so crazy. It's like when my dad was around this dog, it's like you could see his eyes, his tails, and I think like from that is like it taught me a bit more about like it helped build my human relationships as well, seeing how pets are. And then so I see that you care and love dogs, right? And what is that like? Like, because I have my own personal experience, but then you're able to care for people's dogs as well. So it's one thing to care about for your own dogs, but then caring about people's dogs is a different level. How do you get into dog caring and all this?
So all throughout you were talking about this dogs thing, I'm smiling from ear to ear.
You love dogs.
Was my favorite topic. Yeah. So Yeah, my name is Mamta, but people know me as Momo as well.
Oh, okay.
The pet mom.
That mom.
Yeah, so I lived in Lagos, and back in 2014, I had a dog. I got a puppy home. He was called Wi-Fi.
So
Yeah.
what?
And so Wi-Fi had parvo, and he passed away.
Oh.
And I remember in 2014 running around pillar to post in a car at 2 a.m. finding a veterinarian, but I couldn't find any vet in Lagos. And so he passed away as a result. We couldn't treat him. Any which ways, parvo is not treatable.
Yeah.
But that shock uh, was bad. That was like, I was sad. I was very sad about the losing him. I got other puppy, and then there was a time that I realized that it's a time for me now to start. Facebook was like in trend, and people used to go to on Facebook a lot, and also I started a Facebook group called Paws of Lagos at that time, and we started with 9 dogs, as in 9 humans with their 9 doggies. But I said,
Because you ain't said I thought dogs were
yeah. Yeah, but then we grew to like 900 plus today. Yes, and I have people from all over Nigeria on that group now, expats, Nigerians, of course, and it's like a very safe community on Facebook and WhatsApp, Pause of Nigeria, for pet lovers, pet families to ask questions related to pets. I was feared in Lagos. In Abuja it's not that much, but yes, pet parents can actually, they actually approach me for any pet related issues. And yes, I am very, very, very passionate about pets as such, or upbringing of pets. I have my own three. Neo, Margot, and Lela.
Right.
Yeah, and then Pause of Nigeria is growing even today, and it helps people to know in travel related.
Like, so how to like travel your dogs, like tips and stuff like that
In
as well.
COVID, actually, I rehomed 18 uh, dogs. Like, we only helped with adoption, not buying and selling. We are very against buying and
Because you
selling
said that to
pets.
me as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So now we do is give them for adoption. So we have like I have a co-admin with me.
Okay.
She's back in Lagos, so
She helps you, yeah.
yeah, Lagos, because I moved to Abuja. And then, well, fortunately, I had the support of my husband as well, to Naveen as well, to manage this and bring it to the next level. So we're trying whatever we can, and we're taking care of pets.
No, so like, so it's nice. So like, like, so you, Naveen he likes dogs as well.
Yes, very. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He likes pets. He's grown with pets. But again, we're both like against buying and selling.
Okay, okay.
And today, because my life is so busy from morning to night, I think he is more of a pet parent than I am.
Okay.
So he's taking care of Neo, Margot, Lela, and their puppies.
Yeah.
And
But you told me you're trying to find homes for them
yeah, we have 4 pups right now, two
because
boys and one girl. So
in case you're out there looking for what,
for puppies.
what breed?
The American Eskimos.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cute
they're
ones.
beautiful, very cute ones.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right about the emotion behind being a pet parent,
Yeah.
how your dad experienced that love. And they say that dogs are loyal for
Yes, best friend.
friends, best friend, woman's best friend. No, diamonds are not my best friends, but I know that the
Dogs will always be there.
sure.
No, but like it's so interesting because like so my mom doesn't really care for them.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's a tricky thing. Like some things that my dad doesn't make sense to her. Right. So I can imagine so like hearing that like your partner also is into dogs as well must be a very nice thing as well. Oh, and so just before we move to the last thing, I just wanted to ask because obviously a lot of people that will be listening are internationals as well, looking to move to Nigeria and I think people don't people underestimate how it is, the challenges, or even like the beautiful things about moving to Nigeria. Like you've had the opportunity of moving to Nigeria and stay in Lagos and then come to Abuja. Like, what would you all be advised to anybody trying to make that transition to Nigeria? And what tips, pointers would you give them?
So I want to come back to perspective again.
Okay, fair enough.
You know,
Of course.
yeah, it's all about perspectives. It
Okay.
can change
So,
the
so
way
no, this is
somebody
this is your own personal, based on your
is looking at somebody. But I've been doing this for more than 10 years now.
Mm.
You know, I knew a couple, the lady wanted to actually go back from Nigeria because she was like, I can't go for walks, I cannot go for shopping, I don't understand this, I don't get that, and all of that. But like a 5-minute conversation with me, she's still here. It's been like 7 years now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you have to be like what? Like we need to like get you like an ambassador for Nigeria.
Yeah, but you know why? I'll tell you. It's not just about Nigeria. You tell me one safe place on
Right.
planet Earth.
Right.
100% safe. So safety is something that people talk about when they talk about Nigeria.
Yeah.
So people say, "Oh, you don't get because the K word, like we spoke about
Yeah.
before, and that it's not safe, and then you can't do this, you can't do that." Frustration. Oh, frustration is everywhere. Why is there no frustration? The problem is not the country. The problem is the people, and people are everywhere. You know, irrespective of whether it's Nigeria or wherever you go, there are people. They're different. It's just the way you look at things. You know, it's your perspective towards how you're going to fight it out, how you're going to mold yourself and try and be a part of the culture, and then you know, not try to impose your beliefs and your cultures, but then rather blend into it.
Like a hybrid.
Yes, and make an impact about what you know better.
Mm, mm, mm.
You understand what I'm trying to say? It's
So
not
don't just
time-
come and take. Also, like in some ways, give back.
give back.
If it's knowledge based, if it's resource based, but
It's charity
it-
based for that matter also. Yeah. Even if it is that, like, I know of so many communities today, so many other, not just Indian community, but, you know, we have the Spanish community, we have the Lebanese community. All, some of them are really trying to make a difference.
Yeah.
Corporate social responsibility is an actual thing today.
No, of course.
You know, people are doing things for because this country has, let's accept it, I've been around for 16 years. If I had that much of a problem, why didn't I go away? I'm still here. It's because the country has given me something, you know, to feel good about, something that I didn't get anywhere else. I got it here.
Right.
You know, so imagine if an expat is, or if an outsider is actually trying, and then, you know, you have these expat groups on Facebook and all, and there's sometimes these people who post things like, oh, we're planning to move to Nigeria, what are the things that were, and then there are some people who just talk, sorry, but rubbish.
Yeah.
You know, okay, there are security
Of
issues
course, like anywhere else.
but you need to know what time, where, what, where, how you go, how you conduct yourself, like any other country.
It's kind of like what you said in the beginning. Is like when you're in Rome, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Wow.
Yeah, so it's just like any other country. In fact, this is you can adapt to the country. You can do, but of course, it has to be two ways. You're giving and you're getting both.
All right.
Political issues are everywhere. Social issues are everywhere. Security issues everywhere. But you need to find a solution for your own problem and move forward with it instead of cribbing and criticizing.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Mamta.
You're most welcome.
Thank you so much.
Good.
This has been very, very.
Thank you very much for having me.
No, of
Thank
course. But
you.
before we go, we got.
We have something.
Yeah,
for
of course. We have the cards of thoughts. Yes. I'm always excited about this one. That's because I remember the first time I saw it and my friend gave it to me. It just, so I went for a house party and I took it with me. But I figured like it wasn't something I could do in a big group. So I went outside to just chill. And then there were like two guys out there, right? And I was just like, oh, do you mind playing the game? And when I brought it out, it's like we stood there for almost like 1 hour.
Wow.
Right. And we just went on and yeah.
I want to be a part of that house party.
Yeah, but this is our own house party. So we make this one happen. So I'm just gonna shuffle it a bit, divide it into how then you just pick from one. Let your screen lead you. Get one. And then you read it out and you share with us.
Oh, wow.
Do you like it?
Well, Yeah.
Okay.
How do I open my heart to others without fear of losing myself? Okay.
You want to read it? You want to read it again?
That question to somebody who's so guarded. I still am.
No, so I think like your spirit led for this.
Yeah. How do I open my heart to others without fear of losing myself? Um, this is deep actually. Yeah, the fear of losing myself is there.
It's there. Okay.
First of all, the acceptance.
Yeah. Acceptance of what exactly?
That I do
But then,
fear
okay. Yeah.
of losing.
Okay.
I will not deny and I will not say that, oh, there's nothing to fear. No, there is definitely something to fear, especially when you're so selective about the energies, the people, that come into your lives. There is. But does that stop me to open my heart to some of the people or to people? It doesn't, because I am who I am.
Right.
I can't change that for the good. For something which is an area of opportunity, I will try and make that difference. But for something which is about giving something to somebody, love, attention, some more food, food, yes. That is who I am. I have to keep my heart open for that.
Right.
I even in professional life, I did have certain experiences which were not so good, which put me down. I didn't want to work with anybody or, even trust in a staff member or something like that because they did something which hurt me after trusting them. So I was fearful that what if it happens again? But then it will be a new experience altogether when it happens again with a new person, right? But does that stop me from being who I am? No, we can't change that. I mean, if there's an area of opportunity, there's something we need to get altered into to become better people, then yes, of course. But there is certain good inside of us that we would like it to be the way it is. In fact, get better with it, right? Like I've had my hands burnt with with business owners, in fact with staff as well, to be honest, because being in a leadership role, you give things, you compliment, you do what you can as an employer with yourself, but then sometimes it's not appreciated, it's not valued, and things happen. But does that change who you are? You are the leader who you are. You have to become better at it and you have to continue, because there's so much of what is anything inside of you if you're not able to share it with somebody else, be it knowledge, wisdom, love, food. Food, very important. Yeah. So all of this. So even if, I mean, yes, I am guarded, very guarded, but that does not stop me from actually doing something for somebody new. Even if it is like saying that you're repeating your mistake, it's okay. The previous one taught me something, the new one will teach me something else. So, well, it's okay to criticize, but at the same time, it's important to understand where the positivity is, where the clear clouds are, and try to fly there and still continue to doing, navigating into positivity and doing whatever you can for people, because you are who you are and you're enough.
You are enough. Oof. Mamta, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Pause of Nigeria, Apex, all in all, right? Well done for Lord.
Thank you very much. Thank
And
you.
I was saying, it's like if you're in Abuja and you're looking for where to, I feel like Apex, you can almost be there from morning to midnight. You know what I mean? Like start off with your coffee, nice coffee, good breakfast as well. You have like a living room setting as well, and nice fine dining at the same time. So if you're looking for any of those experiences, you have to check out Apex.
And we make you feel important.
Okay. There you go. I think that's the most important one. So thank you so much, Mamta.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. This was therapeutic.
That's what even for me as well. Thank you for sharing. I could see the honest vulnerability. And there's something that I've learned as well is like, for us to truly grow, we have to be comfortable being vulnerable.
We have to.
And you've shown a lot of strength in being able to share personal experiences with us. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I hope someone will listen to you today and watch today and know that like, It doesn't matter what you've been through, it's just about how you navigate it.
And the perspective.
And the perspective. We are now. Said it all. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.